Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to a very special episode of Mikey Chipmunks, the only show on YouTube where we have all sorts of crazy shenanigans going on, a wild variety of games and, well, just video games, because that's pretty much all I talk about on this channel. Yeah, with that intro out of the way, I want to talk about a little game that popped up on my X feed a little while ago, probably a couple of weeks ago at this point. It's a little game called Ruffy and the Riverside by Riverside Labs. The wonderful people there were so kind as to send me a demo key to play and talk about with you guys in this here video. So thank you for coming onto my channel and checking out this little slice of the internet and this nerdy dude's impressions of this wonderful little game. So yeah, spoiler alert, it is a wonderful little game. I was floored instantly playing this game, man. When I saw the trailer, the first thing that popped into my mind was, I need to play this game. I like going on X to discover things, especially in the gaming industry, because that's what I'm all about. Yeah, I just, somehow it came across my feed one day, and I knew I had to play it, man. I love my colorful, vibrant, cheery, cozy, and whatever other word of alliteration that you could fit in there in a blender for Ruffy and the Riverside. I'm just extremely grateful I was able to get this demo key and get a feel for the game. The game just starts out immediately, just black, and then go straight into dialogue. Essentially, the plot goes, you are a bear named Ruffy who is accompanied by his little pal, Pip. When you look at Ruffy and Pip together, there's going to be a set of characters that comes to mind almost immediately. And yes, if you were thinking Banjo-Kazooie, you'd be right. The team at Riverside Labs clearly has a lot of love for Banjo-Kazooies and other collectathon type games, and is sprinkled throughout the demo. There are certain things I found I will not talk about in this video because I want you guys to discover it yourselves when and if you get a copy of the game. I wouldn't want to ruin that surprise because I was very pleasantly surprised by one little nod. You play as Ruffy, the cute little mischievous bear, with his friend Pip, who's a bee. I think a bee is a very fitting, like, little sidekick for a bear. Bears love honey and, you know, yada yada. You meet a bunch of wonderfully wacky characters along the way. You have Sir Edler the mole and Silja the turtle, and a bunch of other characters sprinkled out around the world of Ruffy and the Riverside. If there was one word to describe Ruffy and the Riverside, it would definitely be charm, because my gosh, dude, this game is just oozing charm with every nook and cranny of its existence. You got this wonderfully, like, funky, upbeat music that totally fits the vibe of this, like, sunny, happy-go-lucky world that we're existing in. The entirety of the game is just a whole love letter to the collectathon genre, and you'll find a bunch of similar moves from other famous games like Mario 64. You have some ground pounds and Banjo-Kazooie. You'll have Pip kind of help you fly around and things like that. You have a stamina meter akin to pretty much every adventure game in the past decade or so. Breath of the Wild style wheel for stamina. It seems like there's upgrades that you'll be able to get along the way, which I was not able to find within the demo. I was able to finish the demo in a little less than an hour, and that was with me exploring a little bit. They actually do give you quite a chunk of gameplay for a demo, which is awesome. Essentially, you collect stars akin to Mario 64, where pretty much you complete a set of objectives and puzzles to unlock a power star. Each world that you'll find has a couple of them sprinkled around. Once the full game comes out, I'm sure you'll have a plethora more objectives to complete. There's like a panning shot towards the end of the demo that kind of teases you like this was a little taste of what's to come, and they do this pan across the whole world of Riverside. This game looks meaty, man. It looks like there's a ton of content, because like even from the demo there was a good little chunk of content for about an hour's worth of gameplay. I felt very satisfied, and you know, I can't wait to get my hands on the full copy of the game so I could really dig in and explore even further. Ruffy and the Riverside was just what I wanted. I played enough video games at this point where I could typically tell from the trailer, which obviously that's the job, is to showcase to us potential players what we're gonna expect. Most of these like cozy kind of 3D platformers that I've played, like especially ones in the past decade or so, I'm looking at you, A Hat in Time. I've mentioned that game a couple of times on this channel. Please go play A Hat in Time if you're a fan of 3D platformers. Please and thank you very much. But yeah, like once I saw that trailer, I was like, okay, I know what I'm in for. I know what I'm in for with a game like this. And I didn't even get to it yet. My gosh, the art direction, man. Like the worlds in 3D 3D, which is pretty neat, but like all your NPCs, including playable characters like Ruffy and Pip, they're all in 2D, and it's like pretty much something straight out of like Paper Mario. Yeah, I'm playing it on a 3070. It's not a graphically intense game, but it is gorgeous, man. I was playing it in 2K, 60 frames. It wowed me in the same way that Cuphead wowed me. Like, Cuphead is obviously a different beast. You know, when it comes to animation, the art direction, obviously following that 1930s style to a T. I'm not here to talk about Cuphead, obviously, but I just want to draw that comparison real quick because that's what made me fall in love with Cuphead at first, and then you play the game and you're like, wow, this is really hard, but it's an amazing game. Same thing with Ruffy. One of the big draws of the game is you running around this 3D world as a 2D character, 2D sprites, akin to Paper Mario. So I like that Zocrates, they clearly showered all their love of all these different games that they grew up with and loved to play so much as we have, and wanted to put that into their little game, and there's a hodgepodge of stuff in there. There's one objective where Ruffy is riding like a bale of hay or whatever, like in a roll, and you're going down a half pipe, and I'm like, okay, it could be a stretch, but like maybe they're including their love of Tony Hawk specifically into Ruffy in the Riverside, and I love that, man. I've gotten to talk to Patrick, who's the CEO of Zocrates, and I can get a feel for his personality already, or I can get a feel for his likes and the team's likes and interests and things like that without even barely talking to them, just based on what they were able to put in just the demo. I don't even know what to expect when it comes to the full game. Man, that's just so cool. Like, you're telling me pretty much the games that you loved growing up without saying it outright. It is self-evident when you just pick up the controller and start running around. So like, yeah, that minigame was cool. I got a little smile out of it. I was like, ah, man, it's kind of like Tony Hawk, or just, you know, their love of skateboarding period. This game, believe it or not, this isn't something I thought I was going to bring up, but I feel like speedrunners are going to have a lot of fun with this game. Ruffy in the Riverside is a mechanically sound game, man. It just feels buttery smooth to play. Like, I feel like my hands were like oozing butter. That's a really wild thing to say, but that is straight up what I felt. You know, there's certain games that you play where it just feels premium, kind of like Astrobot. Like, you play Astrobot, it feels like a premium platformer. Take this team, if you will, if you're watching this video, you guys caught that lightning in a bottle. I pick up the controller and play this. I'm like, oh man, it feels good to jump, feels good to ground pound, fly around, and even running, there's like momentum. There's momentum based physics and things like that. So if you get a running start and jump and fly, like, you'll be able to take off a little bit further. That felt really good. So I feel like speedrunners are gonna have a lot of fun with this, or just people that like a lot of their movement options in games. I definitely got a feel of like Mario Odyssey a little bit, and out of every 3D platformer I've ever played, I think Mario Odyssey has the most movement options that I can think of. But yeah, that's what it felt like. I'm like, oh my god, there's so much stuff you can do with the physics and things like that. So I think people are gonna have a real field day if you like these kinds of games where you really have control. You're not like groaning about like, oh, I wish the jump height was a little bit higher, or the run speed is a little bit faster. No, everything is on point and works as it should. So I don't think there's really any room for improvement in that regard when it comes to time the final release comes out. The biggest part of this game that I didn't mention is the swap feature. This is really sick. Right in the beginning of the game, they introduce you to the swap mechanic, and I thought that was really cool. Right off the bat, there's a waterfall. Characters are talking to you. Sir Edler is telling you, we need to be able to climb this thing, and they want you to turn the waterfall into vines. There's a tree right next to where you spawn. You absorb the tree and you throw it, like it turns into a ball of energy almost, and you throw it at the waterfall, and it literally turns into a wall of vines that you can climb up. I just thought that was so cool. And if they're showing these little things in the demo, the sky's the limit on what you're going to be able to do once the full game comes out, because I'm sure as the game progresses, there's going to be more and more upgrades and power-ups and different things that you could swap around. Another one, for instance, just to give you a visual, is another waterfall. You have to knock out this tree guy's kind of being a pain in the ass and he's blocking your way from getting a power star. You need to knock him out, and it's actually in a 2D drawing, which is really cool. I'll get back to that in a second. Turn the waterfall that he's into lava, and you do that by literally finding molten lava somewhere around the map. You drain that and you throw it on the waterfall, and it kills him, turning it into lava instead. I could see why this game took 7 years to develop. I don't know the level of talent that they have at Zocrates, like the amount of talent that they have at Zocrates, but It's very ambitious to incorporate some kind of swap mechanic like that when there's a bunch of stuff that you could actually absorb and turn into other things. You'll be changing the color of certain things to appease certain characters and fulfill certain criteria to get a power star. You'll see a certain section of the game where these NPCs will want you to turn their paintings into something else, and you'll absorb a different painting and turn their painting into the one that they requested. Not gonna lie, Ruffy and the Riverside is definitely one of my most anticipated games of the first quarter of this year. Like, after playing this demo, I'm just ready to get my hands on the full game at this point and just really dig into it. This game just radiates fun, pure and simple. I don't have any gripes, honestly, or any major gripes. Ruffy and the Riverside pretty much checked all the boxes for what I'm looking for in a 3D platformer. Is it colorful? Is it cozy? Is it hip? Is it now? Is it wow? Is it how? I feel like I said everything I want to say about this game and then I said nothing at all. It's one of those things like, I'm just so damn excited to get my hands on this game and just really go ham with this world because it's oozing charm, a beautiful world, graphics are very pleasant to look at. It's a very mechanically sound 3D platformer just from what I played in the demo so far. I really digged it. The whole Paper Mario 2D thing. They even have like a little device where you go into and it flattens them out just like you would in Paper Mario. Yeah, I think that's gonna about do it for my little impressions on Ruffy and the Riverside. Let me know what you guys think down below. Did this video paint a better picture for you for maybe picking up your own copy of Ruffy and the Riverside? Does it make you want to try the demo out? Do you have any other thoughts about the game? Leave everything down below because I am very interested to see what you guys think about Ruffy and the Riverside. I know I was for it instantly, so I'd love to hear what you guys got to say about it as well. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to do it. Look forward to the demo coming out on February 11th, and I believe the full game is coming out in April, so that is all, folks. Take care and farewell.